Well, the timing is surprising for sure. No one expected it this quickly, but the market was pricing this in. And really what this does is it sets up the back half of the year for a recovery. The short term, we're going through a bottoming process with or without the cuts. It did come at a good time because the Fed went through from 2016 to 2018. They did $785 billion of quantitative tightening. And from August to January, they added over $400 billion of liquidity. But what you've seen in the last 8 weeks is they started to taper back on that liquidity provision. And I think that had a little to do with the extremity of the move. It exacerbated this 15.8% move we got from peak to trough in the S&P 500. I had expected that they would open up the liquidity provision and go back to $50 billion a day versus $25 billion a day. I thought they'd attack it from that angle, but instead they went with shock and awe with the 50 basis points. So what happens in the next few days is of less importance because monetary policy always has a lagged effect. It takes 4 to 6 months to work its way through the system, and I think we're going to see the benefits of that towards the back half of the year. The other thing that's kind of interesting about this is now with lower rates, fiscal stimulus starts to become more in play. You saw it this week in Germany, showed a willingness to start to potentially open the gates for fiscal stimulus after a long time. They're the linchpin in Europe for doing it. Italy did $3.6 billion, 3.6 billion euros yesterday. So if this could lead to some global stimulus and the short-term coronavirus fears, you're seeing Singapore get back to work. You're seeing Apple open up 85% of the stores in China. You're seeing Starbucks open up 100% of their stores in China. And we're coming into a seasonally favorable period in the developed world that may help mitigate the effects of coronavirus. So we have the stimulus on the one hand, but on the other hand, things are lining up to get a lot better going into the back half.